everybody, what's up? Guitars N70 here, and today I got a video for you talking about how to get your own sound, how to develop your own sound. If that's something that's important to you, then you will like this video, I think, because I think there's some pointers in here that everyone can learn from, no matter how long you've been playing. It's a different way to think about things. Okay, I know whenever I think of these things, it takes me back to when I first started playing, and it was like, what do I want to sound like, and I know that obviously I go back to all my heroes, and if you watched any of my channel in the past, you know who my heroes are. George Lynch, Warren DeMartini, Randy Rhoads, Brad Gillis from Night Ranger. I mean, just lots of guys over the years. But at first I wanted to sound just like them, and then later I'm like, you know what, I don't want to sound just like them. I just want to, I want my own sound. And I think people start to realize that over time, that it's more important to have your own sound. Okay. So with that, let's start with the first thing is to get your own sound or have a signature tone. You need to dial in what you love. Forget about, this is going to sound like this person, or this sounds too much like that person, or whatever. Like, I mean, if you play with a Rockman, you're going to sound like Tom Scholz, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. If that's what you love, then go for it, If you don't want to be that, like that much of a recognizable sound, don't use a Rockman, go with some other type of chorus effect or something like that, right? But dial in what you love, and then we'll work from there, okay? So that goes hand in hand with, you don't need to reinvent the wheel to get your own signature sound. It doesn't mean you got to do something crazy, go all Eddie Van Halen and, start messing with your capacitors and diodes and all that electronic stuff or whatever and blowing stuff up. You don't have to do that, There's plenty of great sounds that have already been done that you can borrow from and tweak to something that you like, okay? When you're doing all this, don't forget to play. I've watched lots of videos, played with a lot of people or whatever, and they're so busy fiddling with their tone all the time. It's like, how do you even have time to play? Like, I like to mess with my tone sometimes, but yeah, you can't let it dominate your playing, your session, anything, especially when you're playing with other people. You don't want to be messing with your tone all the time when you're playing with other people, right? You want that, hey, this is me. This is my signature tone. Here we go. Okay. So don't forget to play, because that's really important. The other part of that too is if you don't have any, if you let your chops go or don't develop them in the first place, no one's going to want to hear your signature tone. It's just straight up. Okay. So I like to use a kind of a set it and forget it type of approach. I didn't used to. I used to be one of those tone hounds that just was constantly looking, constantly searching, never happy with my tone or whatever. Believe me, when I was more of like, I got a tone that I liked and I set it and forget it and just worked kind of from that, oh my God, not only did my playing get better because I could actually play, it's just like, it gave me more confidence. This is my tone, It may sound, this is my tone. May sound like DeMartini, may sound like George Lynch, whatever, a little bit, but it's never going to sound like them. It's never going to sound completely like them, and that's good. I don't want to sound completely like them, but I do like that ilk, right? So where do I vary my tone from there? And I'm going to go into my tone here in just a second, but where do you go from there? How do you approach that, Okay. So when all is said and done, you're going to have your own sound, regardless of how you got there. It's you, because you're the one playing it, and no one has your hands, which is a big, huge part of your tone, is what's coming out of your hands. I could have Eddie Van Halen's rig, his guitar, everything, and not sound anything like him. And I probably wouldn't, because I don't have his hands, and I'm not him. Okay? So don't let that fool you. Oh, you got a Warren DeMartini guitar, you're going to sound like Warren DeMartini. No, you're not. I don't sound anything like Warren DeMartini when I play. If I play a Rat tune, I would hope I'd sound a little bit like him. You know, if I was playing like Back for More and I was doing, I mean, yeah, it's got his pickup in it. It's his guitar. I'm playing with, you know, with an 80s sound. Of course, it can sound a little bit like him. But that still doesn't change the fact that this is my signature sound. And that's what I treat it as. I mean, it may sound like stupid, like who am I? I'm not, you know, famous or anything. You don't have a signature sound. You just play. Not, well, that's what I look at it as. That's my tone. And I love it, you know. So, how am I getting it? I mean, and how can you get it? So how can you get your own? Let's do that first. You know, you can try different combinations of amps, guitars, effects, those types of things, dial into close to what you want. And then, like I said, this is my tone straight away. Now, if I want to add a little bit more delay, you know, or I can even go more delay if I want, you know. But it's really just one, I mean, a quarter turn of my, back to my signature, right? It's just a quarter turn of my delay. That's it. That's all I have to do. If I want more delay, I add it. If I want, you know, a little bit more slap back and less delay, I take it down this way. You know, and of course I have other effects that I can turn on. You know, if I want to, my phaser. Okay, so I add a phaser to the mix. Big deal. It doesn't change my core tone. It just adds whatever phase to it or whatever you want, right? So so yeah, different combinations of amps. I mean, so for example, like I bought the orange Super Crush 100, right? I tried it through a crate amp, like through a 412. What would it sound like going through there? What would it sound like using just the amps distortion? I tried it with, you know, a overdrive pedal in front of the amp, an overdrive pedal in the, you know, in the effects loop, which was dumb. You know, that's really for time-based effects. But I tried it everywhere, and I moved it around, and that's how I set up my pedal board. I kept moving stuff around. What does it sound like here? What does it sound like there? Like that EVH 90 pedal. It sounds completely different. It's the first thing in my chain. It sounds completely different there than it does if you put it in the actual effects loop, you know. So play around with those things and figure out what you like and go from there, and then set it and kind of forget it. When I say set it and forget it, yeah, you can kind of switch it up a little bit here and there. You don't always want to play with the exact same tone or anything, but for the most part, if you can dial into that, I think you're going to be happy with the result, you know, and play with confidence because you have your own sound. All right. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Tone is very personal to everyone. So have a great day.